Hari Om. Bhajagovindam chanting verses 1 to 5.
bhajagovindam bhajagovindam govindam bhajamudhamate samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane मूढजहि धनागमतृष्णां गुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णा यल्लभसे निजकर्मोपातं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तम् नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागामोहावेशम् एतन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारम् नलिनीदलगतजलमतितरलं तद्वज्जीवितमतिशयचपलम् विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम् यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निज परिवारो रक्तः पश्चाज्जीवति जर्जरदेहे वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करमावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। O fool, give up the thirst for aggrandizing wealth. Straight away he says that. What we have to understand is, in this culture, we have been worshipping wealth. It's not that we are against wealth. As you know, so many people believe as though, Vedanta is against all, accumulation of wealth and all. You should not have any money with you, or everybody should become pauper. That's not what is referred here. But the scriptures, they never say that. That's why we worship wealth. We worship knowledge, even though he is criticizing the man who is attempting to gain knowledge. Vyakarana he is studying, this old man. Still, he is not saying, no, you should not do that. When he says that, it doesn't mean you should not gain knowledge. You have to gain knowledge. You have to have that commitment for knowledge. That is important. Similarly, we worship power. So we worship knowledge, we worship wealth, we worship power. What is interesting is, all three were given a feminine deity. Shakti, feminine deity. Saraswati, feminine deity. Lakshmi, feminine deity. All three were feminine deities. It is important. It's not that, you can't dismiss that and say it is useless. However, The craving that you develop, meaning craving means I can't survive, I can't live, I can't exist, I cannot be normal without it. That's what it means. Craving, Krishna, thirst means I cannot live without it. This is where the problem is. Nothing wrong with wealth. Nothing wrong in that wealth per se. The problem with wealth is, or for that matter, any accumulation, all this material accumulations, what happens is this. In the first verse, he talked about intellectual accumulation. Bhajagovindam, first verse. Second verse, he is talking about material accumulation. See, so he says, don't waste your time on this. In the sense, it's not that you should not acquire. The problem is, once you start accumulating that, what happens is this. When you are acquiring, you will acquire whatever the quantum is. It doesn't matter what the quantum is. Okay. Quantum is defined by every individual. Now, there is no standard rule we can say this much quantum is correct, that much quantum is not correct. Then we will say, is two-wheeler okay, or four-wheeler okay, or car okay, or private jet okay, which is okay? Where are you going to draw the line? And all of us will draw the line according to our convenience. Whatever I feel as basics, I think that is basic. Anyone who is above, it's exactly like this. On road when you are driving, okay, anyone who drives faster than you, you will call them as rash drivers. Anyone who drives slower than you will call them as lousy drivers. So, if I am driving at 40 km speed, everyone should drive only 40. If somebody were to go at 60, I'll say, what? See, look at these people. No sense, you see this. Then you see another man who is driving at 20 km speed, we say what? I can't understand why these people come on road. Is this the lane you take? This is not the lane for this. You should take that lane, this lane. At least in India, we don't have that problem. Why? There is no lane. No, doesn't matter which speed you go, all of us have to go only one lane. So there is no lane problem we have. You go abroad, they have lane disciplines, You have to drive minimum in that speed. In India, we have maximum. There, they say minimum you have to drive in the speed to go in that lane. And if somebody were to come little slower, fellows get so annoyed. They start screaming. Why? I am the standard. Similarly, for everything, we keep ourselves to be the standard. Suppose if I feel that a house should have this, that's a necessity. You see, now you conceive something as necessity and live, correct? Then do you get satisfied with that? No, you say what? I need to get that also. That also when you want to add, what you do is, you convert that also as necessity first. And then your accumulation gets justified. Suppose if you don't convert that into necessity, then you cannot justify that to yourself. I have a car. I want to change my car. Which one? I say what? I wanted to buy one. Let's say that I have a Camry. Now from Camry, I want to go to, because from Maruti Swift, you will not think of BMW. Okay. From Maruti Swift, you will think of Honda City. Similarly, a person who is driving Camry will say what? Let me go for BMW. Now, that accumulation of BMW, he has to tell himself that it is a must. For whatever reason, I'm not worried about what reasons you are going to give, whether those reasons are justified not justified, and all those things. Independent of all those things, first thing you have to do mentally is you have to convert everything that you are acquiring, you want to acquire, as a must, a necessity. A triple bedroom house is a necessity. Then only you will start working for triple bedroom house. Isn't it? The person who is already having a triple bedroom house says what? No, it's better to have a independent villa. Then he says what? I need to make. That's what he says. Trishna means whatever you want to acquire, what are you doing, sir? First thing you do is you convert that into a necessity, a must. And then you feel justified in the pursuit of it. The tragedy is what? Even if you acquire that, can you enjoy it? See, when you are pursuing something, only two chances are there. Either you acquire or you don't acquire. Okay. If you don't acquire, what happens? You will genuinely experience within yourself something which is so essential for your life is missing. Then how can you be normal after that? You will experience a suffocation. It's like if I deny breathing oxygen to you, how will you feel? You will feel that suffocation, isn't it? Same way, the fellow will suffer till he gets that BMW car. Now, if he gets it, one. If he doesn't get, this is the problem. What, sir? Highly frustrated. Frustrated life alone you have to live. Why? Because you have converted that into a necessity. Then there is another probability. What is it, sir? If it gets fulfilled, what happens? If it gets fulfilled, then we'll say, then how I should feel? So elated. No. The tragedy is that also will not happen to you. Because it is a necessity. Because you have already made that as what? Baseline. This is basic requirement. Now what you do that, sir? You will acquire BMW car. After getting that car, what you will say? This is my launch pad for the next launch. You know, this one. This is not the... This also becomes what then? It gets invalidated straight away. This is what happens. Anything you acquire, you will invalidate it straight away. Doesn't matter what you get. You buy a dress. Till you put it on, there is value for it. The moment you buy it, there is no value for it after that. Why? You invalidate it. Not that the value of the dress has dropped. Not that the value of the car has dropped. No. It remains the same, constant. The problem here is what, sir? You will not be able to. Because you can enjoy it only when you experience, only when you feel that I am getting something which is so much of comfort, so much of luxury. I have to feel it is luxurious. Only then I can enjoy it. If I feel that is a necessity, how can I enjoy it? So you acquire also, there is no enjoyment. You don't acquire, there is frustration. And all your lifetime, what are you doing, sir? Running behind this. Therefore, Shankara says, don't stop the movement, please. That's what Krishna says in the Gita. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu dishtatya karma kartu. You cannot remain without action. Even for a split second. It's not possible. You have to act. There's no choice. But do not act out of trishna. Do not act out of scarcity, necessity, pressure, compulsion. Act out of what, sir? Luxury. That is what he says. create in your mind the thought of reality instead of thirst. Replace the thought of luxury. What I have is a luxury. Anything that is going to get added to luxury is what? Anything that is not getting added to luxury is what? Not going to make any difference to you. Why, sir? Because I am already in luxury. I am already living such a luxurious life. Extra, will it make any difference? That's why you got to learn to live, he says. Then what you have to do, whatever be the fruit of action gained, content your mind with that. Kurusat buddhim, he says. Kurusat buddhim, beautiful word. Develop that sadbuddhi, he says. Now what sort of buddhi you have? Right now you have only vakra buddhi. Vakram in Sanskrit means bent, crooked. Shankara says, develop that sadbuddhi. Right now what, sir? All our thinking is what? Cunning. How do you know whether you have vakra buddhi or sadbuddhi? Read the next verse, you will know whether you have got vakra buddhi or sadbuddhi. Straight away he covers that point also in the next verse. Beautifully organized. Bhajagovindam. First thing he covers is knowledge. This scholastic knowledge, scholastic expertise, education, whatever intelligence that you are going to acquire in the world is of no use, will not come and help you. He says. Then he moved to the next idea. Is every verse what you have to do is, therefore what you have to do, sir? Go back to the first one. What, sir? What we have to do, Ishwaran? If you ask the question immediately, okay, now what do you want us to do, Ishwaran? Immediately I will say what? Bhajagovindam, bhajagovindam. Govindam bhaja mudamate. Mudamate we can forget, it's okay. But at least you got to remember what, sir? Bhajagovindam. Therefore what? Seek Govinda. Seek the higher knowledge. This lower knowledge should inspire you to seek the higher knowledge. If the lower knowledge is not inspiring you to seek the higher, then it is incomplete. That's what Shankara says. Now start using this to move. Next first verse. Second verse is that your materialistic pursuits. Knowledge pursuit, first verse. Second verse, materialistic pursuit. And the third verse, he says, is, I'm just reading the third verse. Nari stanabhara nabhi desham drishtva maha moha vesham etan mamstava sati vikaram manasi vichintaya varam varam. Nari stanabhara nabhi desham drishtva magha moha vesham etan mamstava sati vikaram manasi vichintaya varam varam. Seeing the bosom and navel of a woman, do not fall a prey to frenzied delusion. It's a modification of flesh, fat, etc. Reflect well in your mind over and over again. Seeing the bosom and navel of a woman, do not fall a prey to frenzied delusion. Moha vesham is the frenzied delusion. It qualifies delusion beautifully. What is it? It's just a modification of flesh, fat, etc. Now here it's a very a sort of a controversial verse. You take. See, what is referred here is this. He is not, against women. There's a lot of people think, Shankara is critiquing, women's body only. Now, Shankara did not say only women's body is made up of fat and flesh. Everybody's body is made up of fat and flesh. It's not that man's body is made up of gold, diamond, platinum, all those things. Man's body also same thing. But why he is referring only to women's body here is because of what? Obviously, it is for what reasons? Because he is speaking to a man. Since he is speaking to a man, he is talking about a woman. If he were to be speaking to a woman, he will talk about a man. That's all. So it is not that, first thing you got to remove is this. First thing you have to understand is not that, he is having the man who wrote the same, is the same person who wrote Saundarya Lahari. Okay. I tell my, students who, when I do this college class, student classes when I go, they ask me, sir, how do we, impress a girl? You want to impress a girl, read Saundarya Lahari. Beautifully he describes women there. Copy paste. Nowadays we email itself, we copy paste these days. Now what about this? I say, read there. How same Shankara is the one who describes a woman there. Have you ever seen a man writing a poetry about a woman's nail? In the nail, you have one arc-like, moon-like thing, crescent-like thing. He writes a verse for that. How beautiful it is. How glorious it is. Now, what amount of details he goes to describe? Saundarya Lahari, superb description. Now, same Shankara is the one, like I told you, Shankara is the one who wrote Lakshmi Stotram, Kanakadara Stotram, which is known, popularly known to all of us as Kanakadara Stotram. It's the same person who says what? Don't have this delusion, man, frenzied delusion for wealth. Don't run behind wealth. It's the same person who wrote Kanakadara Stotram also. A same person who says this has done that also. That's where these masters are so contradicting in nature. What we have to understand is it's not that they have a standard. Now he is talking to a particular audience. Remember that carefully. These texts should be read with reference to that context. If the context is forgotten, if you take it out of context, it has no relevance at all actually. Bhagavad Gita you have to study in the context of Arjuna and Krishna. Forgetting Arjuna, Krishna, if you try to interpret Bhagavad Gita, you will go all sorts of things will come out of it. Similarly, when you read Upanishads should be interpreted differently. That's how these masters will speak different things to different people. That's what Christ says. To one group of people he says, I am the messenger sent by the Father in heaven. To one group of people. In another place, he says, I am the begotten son of the Father in heaven. In another place, he says, the Father and Son are one and the same. If Father and Son are one and the same, how can messenger? If messenger is there, then how come Son? How is it possible that Son and Father be one and the same? Na petal, you will say. In Tamil, we have a word. Or blabbering, we will say petal. No. If you don't understand to whom he is speaking, you can never interpret what he is saying. In which context he says. When he is speaking to the public, general public, he says what? I am the messenger. To the closed friends circle, what he has. To those people who come to him for his lectures, he says what? When he is speaking, people around him, not to them, he says, I am the son. He goes inside the temple, his disciples come, follow him. To those disciples, he says what? The father and son are one and the same. The teaching is according to the student. Remember that. That's why Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the same Krishna who gave Bhagavad Gita. It is the same Krishna who gave Uddhava Gita also. But the message given in Bhagavad Gita is totally different from the message given in Uddhava Gita. Why? Very simple answer. Speaker is same, but the student is different. In one place, Arjuna is a student. Another place, it is Uddhava is a student. Uddhava is a different type of a personality. Now, to him, he can't give the same material. So, remember the context of bhajagovindam. What is the context of bhajagovindam, sir? I have told you in the introduction itself. The context is this. A person is totally lost in the affairs of the world and he wants to get out of that involvement. And he says, I need something for me to drop that involvement. The world is so tantalizing. It is so attractive. Therefore, I am getting involved in that. I am not able to take my vision out of it. I am not able to extricate myself out of it because it is so attractive. So what to do? That is where the scriptures, they use a technique. They say, if you want to do that, what you have to do, sir? They say there is a different technique. The technique is called Pratipaksha Bhavana. Pratipaksha means Paksham is a view, angle. A particular angle is called a Paksham. Pratipaksha means different view. Bhavana is attitude. The attitude that you develop by looking at the same thing from a different angle. And that is what he says in the last line. Manasi vichintaya varam varam. Again and again. Varam varam. Varam varam, not in Tamil varam varam. In Tamil varam means week. Most of our fellows will say, correct, sir. That's exactly what we are also following. But every week we attend your class. No, that's not what is meant by. Varam is Sanskrit varam. Okay. Like in Sanskrit, mukham means mouth. In Tamil, mukham means face. It has caused a heavy, problem. Huge problems have come in because of this misunderstanding. See, the sound is the same, but the meaning is not the same. You see, for every language, we'll have similar sounds. So, but need not be the meaning same. The meanings are all different. So here, varam varam is again and again. Again and again, you have to apply yourself and think how use this technique called Pratipaksha Bhavana. Throughout the Bhajagovindam, Shankara will be employing this technique only. Each text has a peculiar technique. Atma Bodha, if you take, in Atma Bodha, he uses a different technique called Upamana, comparison. So many dimensions of self, God, Brahman. He compares with what is known to us. Through that comparison, like this, he goes on giving that knowledge. Brahma Sutra, if you take, it's all deduction. In Brahma Sutra, it is pure logic, inference. This, observation. If these observations are correct, then this is the derivation out of it. So you observe certain facts, you take certain observations of yours, and then deduct a piece of understanding out of it. That is Brahma Sutra. If you go to Upanishads, there is no deduction and all that. In Upanishads, what is it, sir? Declaration. This is it. Declarative method. Now, each text has a different methods. Now, in this text, Bhajagovindam, Shankara uses this beautiful technique called a Pratipaksha Bhavana, very, very effective one. One of the most effective ones to have this understanding for a person who says it will be effective only if this context. Remember that frame. The frame is this. Person says, I am totally lost in the affairs of the world. I want to extricate myself, but I am not able to come out. It is still so attractive. What am I to do? You are saying, think of God and all those things. But the problem is what? I am not able to think of him. Therefore, Shankara has started analyzing what all the areas in which you are getting attracted. First area you get attracted to is what? Wealth. Another one you are getting attracted to is what, sir? He says is women. Enjoyment. Now, why women? We will see next. Okay, first let's understand what the technique. Pratipaksha Bhavana. It's like you enter a hotel, right? You go to a hotel, you eat, come out, isn't it? I don't think any other hotel I have seen in the world where people are allowed to see the kitchen, except in MTR. In Bangalore, we have this MTR hotel in Lal Bagh Road. Only those fellows. There also there is one thing. What is it, sir? After meals, you come out through the kitchen. Now imagine you enter the hotel through kitchen. How much you will get fascinated to eat that dish. That's why you ask all those people who work in hotels. Do you eat in your hotel? You ask them. They say what? I come home. I eat what is there at home. Not there. Why? Hey, all these people claim that your hotel dish is so great. There's all those things. No. Why you are not eating, sir? Because they know what's happening inside. You see, it is something like that. You just have to do what, sir? Same hotel only you are entering. Only difference is what? Instead of entering through the front door, you are entering through the kitchen. The 5-star hotels, you go. There are 2 entrances are there for 5-star hotels. One is the lobby entry, which is for the general public. Then there is another entrance is there for the employees, staff. Okay, the staff entrance. And in that staff entrance, there will be staircase. What is it made up of? Staircase is there, no? What do they put there, sir? Italian marble? No. What is there? Normal mosaic only they put there. Inside. Same 5-star hotel. This side you come, what is it, sir? It's very ordinary. The same fellow comes outside, he starts behaving as though what? You see the difference? You enter a 5-star hotel through this, you get one idea of what it is. You enter the same hotel through another angle, what happens to you now? You get a different. what happens is what, sir? One thing will happen. What? That extra sense of wow, that will not be there. If you are never entered through that side, if you come only through this way, you look, oh, all those people who are in that 7-star hotels were all like what? All of them eat that sort of a food is what we think. Isn't it? All of us think what? Whatever, we're getting served here is what is getting served for those people also. No, they have a separate canteen. They get a separate things. They don't eat this. They don't get this. This is meant only for what, sir? This is. Now, if a person comes through this, you get one impression of what it is. You enter to it through this side, you get a different impression. That's all it is. This is called a Pratipaksha Bhavana. Now, he is employing the same rule to enjoyment also. Now, the possibility is what, sir? He has to take one example to refer enjoyment. Can we take music? Enjoyment. Yeah, correct. There is X amount of joy in music. But the problem is what, sir? In music, there is only one sense is getting participated. Isn't it? Music, only your ears participate. That's it. You can't go and smell the musician. I want to check now. You can't go near the musician and say, I want to smell you. That's not. You can't say, I want to lick you and see how tasty you are. Let me take one bite. That is not possible. Music is not. You can't take a bite of a music. Not available. Only one sense participates. Whereas when you see a flower, there are two senses participating. Isn't it? When you see, your eye sees and then your nose. Two senses participate. Therefore, what? The possibility of pleasure is more. I can derive through two means I can get more pleasure out of it. That's all it means. It is something like that. Imagine the world is there. I have 5 pipes through which I can draw water. I can draw pleasure from the world. There are 5 pipes for that. One context, you can use only one tap. Even if you open that full tap, how much water can come and fill the bucket? How much water you can get? How quickly you can get? One. Another places you have is what, sir? 2 taps can be opened. You can draw more water, isn't it? Another place you can use 3. When you eat food, what's that? There are 3 senses participate in that. What is it, sir? You can see, when you see that black forest, the sight itself is so tempting. That's why, the hotels and all the, their places, they decorate presentation. In food competitions, when all you go, it's not just cooking. It is how you present it. Even at home, they say, you are not supposed to bring from the vessel directly. You can't bring from the kitchen. You have to change it to a different vessel, and then only you should bring. You can't bring the kadai straight from the kitchen and keep it on the dining table and say, all of you serve. We may say, yeah, that's easier for us. Why? Because one vessel less for me to wash. The man will say better because he is the one who is washing now at home. Thanks to this lockdown. Washing there. 3 senses participate when you are eating. The taste, the sight, the smell. And they are making this Murungakai sambar From the room itself you call and ask, Ambar, is it today? Why is that? Smell is so good. It is so tempting. Three senses. Which means what? You can derive more. They started searching where all five senses participate to derive pleasure from the world, to extract that pleasure from the world. Which is the best one, sir? Best one has to be what? All five senses participate in one experience. In the experience of music, only one is participating. Right? So how much ever you can draw only that much. That's it. You can't get more than that. Right? Now, when it comes to maximum pleasure possibility, I have to speak. I need to take an experience where one experience, all five senses participate, and thereby maximum pleasure I can derive out. Which is the one? That is where they took women as an example. Don't think it is because they are all oppressing women. They are all angry and they are they hate this. It's not that, please. It's a very, very poor understanding of the context of these masters. In fact, why they take it, sir? Because all five senses are participating. Women. So we have explained why he uses the word women first. Then in the verse, particularly he refers to two things. Women in general is one. But there's another thing he says is, particularly he refers to the bosom and navel. Why is he referring to these two things, sir? A woman. Because of only one reason. Why, sir? Because the contact you have with the other, the first contact you have till you take birth is that umbilical cord. The child in the womb gets all its nutrition, everything only through this umbilical cord, isn't it? After the birth, that cord gets cut. They disconnect it. That disconnection creates a tremendous shivering to the child. That is why they put the child immediately next to the mother. They give the child to the mother with all that, with just a towel and all that. They don't even allow the child to be taken for bath and clean and all those things. No, even before that they will give it to the mother first. That the child should get the warmth of the mother. It is compulsory for the child. Otherwise the child will start feeling so insecure. So they give it. So the first contact you have with the other than me, one more, is the first contact is this. Then when you are inside the womb, when you come outside the womb, what is the contact, sir? Bosom is the first contact. That is why there is a tremendous attraction towards that. You see, there's nothing great about it. And the tragedy is, in these, aboriginals, deep African jungles, where they don't even have any dress and all those things. There, no man or no woman have any attraction towards this. Only in our world, there is. In their world, it's not there. Now, Shankara is teaching bhajagovindam to whom? Not to an aboriginal. If he is speaking to an aboriginal, he will not say this. Why? It's redundant for him. For man only it is happening. Why this is happening, sir? Because of this basic nature. Thing is, like we say, first impression is not the best impression, it is the last impression. Rest of your life, what are you going to do? You are just going to go on reinforcing that thing in you. That's about it. You see, say for example, if you attend the first class If the first class is impressive to you, rest of your life, what will you be saying? Oh, Ishwaran speaks so well. He is so good, he is. Suppose if the first class is not impressive, what happens? Waste of time, man. No matter what happens after that. Rest of your life, what are you going to do, sir? Why? Because first thing. So the first thing we came in contact with is this. Therefore, psychologically, you have that attraction. Now we may say, Ishwaran, if this may be applicable for a man, what about women, sir? They're also the same rule. Only difference is what? The involvement for a man with women and a woman with man is the same. No difference. Remember this. But then, the way that gets expressed, the speed in which that involvement happens is different. The speed in which a man gets attracted to a woman is not the speed in which woman gets attracted to a man's body. Remember carefully this. All man magazine you see, you'll see women photo. Right. Similarly, in women's magazine also what should be there? Men's photo, no? But there also you will see only women's photo. You will not see men photo there. Women's era, take that and see. If you have, anywhere if you see, women's era, you go, open that and see. How many pictures of man in that book? How many pictures of women in the book? The pictures of man is much less. Pictures of women is more. Why? I remember when I went to, haircut, when I was small, I used to get really shy, going to that, barber shop. Nowadays we call it as spa. In those days we used to call that as barber shop. Nowadays, it's called as hairdresser, this one, something and all, names we are using. Barber shop. We used to go, there. I used to feel really shy to go there, But then I used to, father would take or, uncle will take, somebody will take. I used to feel really shy. So one day I couldn't contain myself. I asked him, why you are keeping all this, bad photos? All these, ladies' photos will be there. All these actresses and all this, photos will be there. So I asked him, I couldn't see that. I'm feeling so shy. So I want to. Now I don't go, but I'm talking about, when I was, fourth standard or sixth standard, fifth or something like that. Maybe I think must be fifth or sixth standard. I used to get really shy, So I asked uncle, and he gave a beautiful psychology. I understood, there is a lot of reason in that. They say why they keep such pictures is because the success of my job is not only dependent on my skill of cutting. What is very important is to keep the head still. You see, the man who comes and sits, he should keep the head still in a position. You see, he will turn the head like this and say, stay in that position for 3 minutes. And then he'll suddenly twist this side and keep. So, he said, how do you keep a man to still in that position? They say, best thing is what? Keep those big posters. Half dressed, women pictures and all you keep, they'll keep looking at it and they still. I can finish my cutting. I said, yeah, correct. After that, I started observing. Whenever I go, I will go to the saloon, only when there are more people. When nobody is there, I'll come back. No point. It's not interesting. But every time I go there, I see. The sight is inciting. You get excited about it. He says, what is there to get excited? What is it so exciting about it? Just inquire. That's all he says. He's not saying you should not get excited and all that, because there's no point in telling you not to get excited. Why? He's already getting excited. Now, there's no meaning in going and telling him, it's like going and telling a man who's getting angry, don't get angry. When a fellow is, getting so furious and shouting, don't get angry, you go and tell him. I'll say stay about, 4 or 5 feet away from him. Maintain social distance and say, don't go close to him. Fatal, he'll give one to you. Why, sir? This is the problem. Why? The idea we have is this. When we see a man sees a woman, he gets attracted quickly. Whereas women don't get attracted so quickly. That's all it is. It takes time for a woman to get incited. But it's very interesting. See, so that's the nature of it. Now we can't argue and say why it is so, why it is like that and all that. Now we don't know all those things. This is what it is. This is the fact. So number one, you see why he takes women. 2, why he is taking bosom and navel. 3, we see is why is he addressing to a man instead of women. Why is because the speed in which he getting excited, getting involved is faster for a man than a woman. 2, man is always interested in women's body, not women interested in man's body. It's not the same. You see? So therefore he takes that. That's all. It's nothing to do with, this, all those things. Now comes the philosophy. So far there's no philosophy. Okay. Philosophy only now we are arriving. So far it's only build up, backdrop. Okay. Now comes an interesting question. The question is this. In South India movies, if you want to become popular, you want to become a big heroine in South India, how you have to be, sir? You have to be plumpy, right? Round. If you are round and plumpy, you see, all the top heroines. North India you go, Bollywood you go. There, if the same actress goes there, she will be treated as tuntun there. Right? They'll become a comedian, not a heroine. There, if you want to be a heroine, how you have to be, sir? Slim, tall, slim. So one person says, how you have to be plumpy and round. If you are, it is attractive. Another fellow says you have to be slim, tall. Now, a woman looks beautiful to you when it's not inherent in women. Remember this. That is what Shankara is arriving at. What he is saying is, woman is not beautiful to you. Why is that? That's what we see in this Persian stories. They talk about this great lover, Majnu. He's a prince. Majnu is a prince. He fell in love with a girl called Laila. The father told him, "See, you don't, fall in love with a commoner because, he's royalty. Laila belongs to a common, girl. But this man is so adamant. He says, no, if I marry, it's only Laila. Otherwise, forget it." So the father, finally he yields and says, okay, forget it. Yeah, it's okay. You bring her tomorrow to the assembly. Let's see. I'll talk to her and find out whether she'll fit in, to our, royalty and all that. Now, when he called her, next day in the assembly, Majnu brought Laila. The moment Laila walked in, everybody's face turned. So weird. Everyone started looking at each other. What's wrong? What is this? Why is that? Because Laila was looking so ugly. Positively ugly. Okay. She's not just, a positively ugly person. She's, her tooth is, protruding out, and, dark skin, round, nose, this way, and, there's no proper, grooming, and there is this, that. Description is, I'm not saying that, it is there in the text actually. So don't think that, Ishvara is creating all this. I'm not creating. It's there, I'm telling you people. The description of her. And the father says, okay, take her back. We'll talk. First ask her to leave. Let's talk. After she goes, the father says, I can't believe this, man. See, if you are supposed to marry royalties only. But okay, I thought you want to marry some commoner. I thought maybe she is such a beautiful person in entire Persia. That's why you fell in love with her. She's looking so ugly. How can you love her? That's the time this guy gives a beautiful reply. Father, look her through my eyes. You are looking at her through your eyes. No. Look her through my eyes. She is so beautiful. Look her through my eyes means what? Look her through my desires. That's what it means. When I look that lady through my desires, she looks beautiful. So the beauty is not inherent there. Isn't it? It's not inherent there. Then where is it, sir? It is in my desires. It is in my desires. Women look beautiful. Remember this. Women look beautiful because of your desires projected on her. My desires I project on that person. Therefore, they look beautiful. When do you project your desires? Any desire that you have been suppressing. That's what they say, no? When a hungry man looks at the full moon, he sees what? Idli. He will not see moon. Full moon will not be there for him. He will say what? Such a huge idli is there. Let me have that idli. See, he can't see anything else. A fellow who, another man says what? Look at that moon. So beautiful it is. Why? I see my beloved's face there. Another fellow. Each one starts seeing the moon. Depending on what, sir? What is the desire that is getting suppressed in me? Women look attractive. Why? Suppression. Desire. Your desires is what is getting suppressed. Why do you suppress that desire? It's not outside. It is inside. This is where the problem is. We started thinking it is oppression of the gender. This is not a gender oppression, please. This is a psychological oppression, suppression which is happening in every human being. That is why outside it is getting projected. How is it, sir? Think carefully. Every being is created through the union of two, male and female. Isn't it? The union of the two alone created everyone. So everyone is a product of what, sir? Union of two. Therefore, in every human being, what is there? There is a masculine part and there is a feminine part. There is masculinity, there is femininity. In every human being. There is no exception. Every human is bisexual only. Together. Why? Because we are all created through the union of the two energies. Therefore, what is the product also has to be? The product also has to have the signature of the two. The signature of the male energy and the signature of the female energy has to be there in every human. What is interesting is, for every man, the masculine energy is in the forefront, the feminine energy is in the background. Or to put it in the psychological language, we say masculinity is at the conscious level, femininity is in the subconscious level. Now remember this, every human is a combination of two, masculine, feminine. Now, every man's life, what happens is, he starts promoting what is in the conscious level, what is in the surface. Surface is masculine. Therefore, he goes on promoting masculinity, and more attention he goes on giving to the masculinity. The femininity in him is getting ignored. More you ignore that, it starts feeling the deprivation. It will start resisting, it will start rebelling, it will start feeling the pressure, it will come out. What is the mark of it, sir? Lot of us have this problem, no? What is it, sir? Man, even at the age of 65, 70, continues to be a hero. Heroine, what happens? Don't. Why? Even now, girls are interested on the world. Why? Whereas, the moment a heroine gets married, lot of us ask, I say, who is honest? The moment a heroine gets married, all men followers of her, drop her. That's why her market drops. Whereas, for a hero, that's not the case. Women fan of him continue to be fan of him. We are all not like that. If you see a lady married, means, we'll say she's not us. We'll remove her poster, we'll put a new poster. We'll take out Aishwarya Rai, put, Deepika Padukone. Now we have removed Deepika Padukone also. Now the wall is empty now. I'm searching for, next poster to come in. Whereas we see these people, Shah Rukh Khan, still they have same picture. Hey, how is it, man? Now, who is good? Men good or women good? I say men are much better, I say. Now think carefully. Man, once they get old, you start seeing the signs of femininity in a man. Have you seen that? Older men, when you see, they look little feminine. Whereas, older women you see, they look more masculine. Very simple. How do you understand all this? Nothing you have to do. If you have grandparents at home, buy a new mobile phone and give it to your grandfather and grandmother. And see who understands that faster. Grandfather or grandmother. A grandson is in love with a girl. Okay. The grandson has to come and tell that who supports that, who rebels against it. The grandfather will start jumping up and down. The grandmother will say what? It's okay. You are liking, no, marry, it's okay. You take grandfather and grandmother abroad. Right? Who understands abroad better? Who adapts to that faster? Huh? If there is a tragedy at home, the grandfather will collapse, but not grandmother. The grandmothers are very strong. But grandfather gets more weaker. Whereas when you see at a younger age, what is it? Exactly opposite. The younger age, women look, so weak. That's what all men think, That's the stupidity of men. For the first, 10 years, women look little weaker. So the man starts thinking what? I am the boss. At 10 years, they say, okay, go, we'll know what to do after that. After marriage of 10 years, you have to see who is the boss at home. Even office promotion, if you want, what you have to do? First thing, you have to go. Wherever you go, first thing what you have to do, sir, say this. Why? Who is more daring? Who is more explorative? See, that exploration is a masculine quality. Conservatism is a feminine quality. Grandfathers become more conservative. Grandmothers becomes more explorative. Why? How this is happening? As though it, of course, there may be some exceptions here and there. Okay. As though as a rule you can see it. You can guarantee this in everybody's house. Why this is happening, sir? Why this is happening is because of this reason only. In our lifestyle, what we do is, man starts promoting only masculinity and starts suppressing femininity. Over a period of time, this suppressed energy starts taking its toll. Comes out. Same way for women also. The masculinity gets suppressed. Therefore, it comes out with vengeance later on. Now, Shankara says, don't go gaga over. Why you are doing that, sir? Because of your suppression only. It is not inherent there. Remember this. That is why in our culture, we have this God, peculiar God, called Ardhanarishwara. You see, amazing visualization of these people. Created a God, half man, half woman. Meaning what? Your ability to integrate this masculine energy and feminine energy in you. Once this integration has happened, once this focus is being given equally to both, then this will not happen. Otherwise, what, sir? One look is enough, it gets triggered. The suppressed thing gets triggered just by the look of it. That's all. Therefore, Shankara says, don't do this. How do you handle that, sir? He says, look at the same thing from the other angle. For a person who's already involved, what you have to do? If you are already involved, then what, sir? Starts analyzing this. What is it? What is this made up of? It is just modification of flesh. Oh, she has such a beautiful eyes. Take that eye out and give. What will happen? Oh, superb hair she has. What a hair, man. Fantastic hair it looks. Tomorrow morning, the fellow asks, what is for lunch today? Sambar. What sambar? Hair sambar. Like we have, this, bitter gourd, this one, that one, and all that, we put in sambar. One more item we have is what? Hair also. Can you? But when the hair were to be sitting on your head, it looks what? When it is here, it looks so attractive. Take it out of here and keep there, what happens? Same thing you say, ugh. It's the same thing. No difference. But then the question is, keep thinking again and again, he says. Inquire into this, man. Again and again. What? What is that made a difference in this? It's just a positioning. That's about it. Just a position. It's just a combination. Inside is what? Same thing. What difference does it make? It's the same. Do you appreciate that part? But all this is covered and packaged. with the skin, then it looks what, sir? It looks so nice. Open the package, what happens? It's nothing. That doesn't mean immediately you start decrying. This is what another problem is. Immediately people say, now don't think, every body is the same thing. There's no difference. That's what I said at the beginning itself. Okay. But this is told to whom? Remember that. If you don't keep the context and background, you will definitely misunderstand the verse. In fact, the entire bhajagovindam, particularly this verse, because lot of people feel so uncomfortable even to talk about these things. They say, why talk about all these things? Skip this verse. Now, if Shankara want to skip, he would have skipped. Why he is putting it, as though so much of effort he puts in to give the details. This is the reason. Follow this carefully. Manasi vichintaya varamba. Reflect well again and again. See you next week.